On the road to MotoGP, this is FAB-Racing.
Brilliant stuff to see all these guys made it out in quali and did a brilliant job through some treacherous conditions, but now they've got some more treacherous conditions coming up here with, so like you say, some standing water. First time we've seen standing water so far this weekend, so something for all these riders to try and make their way and find the best route around this circuit in and ultimately stay on the bikes.
Yes, very much so, and a number of these riders would have been out on circuit already, but the weather has definitely turned a little bit worse, so it might be a little bit more slippery and standing watery, and I'm sure those are words that I can create. But yeah, welcome to Ellough Park, whether you're watching at home or watching here and in the paddock. It is round 5 of the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championships here from East Anglia. We have 3 more rounds after this, Rowrah in 2 weeks' time, and then of course up to Red Lodge, and then we finish off in Llandough in South Wales. It is going to be, well, the LC40s have had a brilliant season so far, with Charlie Huntingford and Ryan Hitchcock battling out over the wins. And last time out it was Charlie Huntingford and Ryan Hitchcock that had a brilliant fight between the pair of them, with Ryan Hitchcock falling in Charlie Huntingford. Charlie Huntingford, I think, falling back to 3 seconds in 2 separate occasions to overhaul Ryan Hitchcock and take the win with a lap and a half left to go in both races.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie Huntingford at the front of this championship, battling out with Ryan Hitchcock all race long. Ryan Hitchcock, who we just saw in the Extreme 200, so he's going to do a quick swap over into this class. British Time Cup rider, if you didn't gather from that last race, he'll be looking to get some wins here on a mini moto machine. So yeah, Charlie Huntingford and Ryan Hitchcock out the front of this championship, battling it out with a good bit of a lead over the number 72 of Samuel Munson, who's currently 3rd in this championship. You can just see there the WAM sponsored number 99 of Warwick Brady lining up onto the grid, but it's Ryan Hitchcock there who's lining up on the front row, the number 43 rider, British Time Cup rider, like we've just said, and looking to pick up points in this championship as well, and could very possibly end up being the LC40 Elite champion at this rate, but he's going to have to fend off the number 76 of Charlie Huntingford.
Yeah, and that's the 91 you can see on the left of Archie O'Brien as they look to the lights, get ready for race 1 of the LC40 Elite. Lights out and away they head to turn 1. It's a great start from the 91 of Archie O'Brien. The pole sitter Warwick Brady falling right down the order of Ryan Hitchcock, right down the order, but Archie O'Brien, good start from him. Warwick Brady in 2nd position.
Yeah, and I think there's some problems there for the number 43 of Ryan Hitchcock, because he seemed to go backwards off the line, and he was continuing to go backwards on the straight, so perhaps some issue there for Ryan Hitchcock. But it's the number 99 of Warwick Brady who's leading this one. Hasn't had a win yet this year in the LC40 Elites. Possibly a podium back at Lydd, but we'll just check up on that one. But leading this race, yeah, 2 podiums back at Lydd for Warwick Brady in the wet weather conditions back there as well, so looking really strong at the front of this race as well. Also you can see Archie Gibson there it is then. Ryan Hitchcock, your 2nd place man in the championship, coming into pit lane, and Charlie Huntingford is going to be absolutely smiling when he sees that, because he's going to be able to pick up some points. They're currently down in 10th place I believe at the moment, so but he's going to be looking to pick up some points. Now up to 7th place is Charlie Huntingford, so he's going to be able to pick up some points on Ryan Hitchcock with him going out of this race. But Warwick Brady is then leading from Casey Sperry, the number 20, currently in 2nd positions, made his way up through the grid right onto the back wheel of Warwick Brady, a rider who we saw really strong in the wet earlier on in the Metro Kit class as well.
Yeah, Casey doing a great job, and once again fighting at the front in this one, really starting to put the pressure on Warwick Brady. The pair of them did identical lap times last time around, so 1:03.398, so that shows how fast Warwick Brady and Casey Sperry are. They were 2 seconds faster than anyone else, but absolutely matched each other for pace. So watch this one evolve as the race goes on. You can see behind the battle is going on between Archie O'Brien, Michael Holt, Archie Gibbs, Josh Bannister. Charlie Huntingford is on a charge trying to come through the field. He'll know now that Ryan Hitchcock is out of this one, and he will will be hoping of picking up some points, but there goes Casey Sperry up into the lead. So brilliant start from Casey. Now finds himself ahead of Warwick Brady and starting to really push on. Once again, across the line, they did times only half the 10th splits. So, yeah, a really impressive time is down. We've got one of the riders.
Yeah, that's Warwick Brady there that's gone down there on the WAM liveried bike. Unfortunately suffered from a couple of crashes earlier on in the season at Wilton Mill as well, and unfortunately crashing out of this one. Looked a little bit winded after that one, which is gifting Casey Sperry a big lead at the front of this one. Poppers about 5 seconds ahead of Marco Holt, who will be promoted up to second place now. So Casey Sperry at the front of this race, still with 6 laps to go in this one as he comes across the line to start. 5 laps to go now in this race for Casey Sperry, for him to pick up his first win in the LC40 Elite. Brilliant second place at the moment for the number 58 of Marco Holt, with Archie O'Brien defending the podium for the number 2 there, the other WAM liveried LC40 machine of Josh Bannister.
Yeah, Casey Sperry, best result of 3rd, which he picked up at Wilton Mill 2 weeks ago in race 2, is now on for a race win, 8.6 seconds up the road from Marco Holt, who's doing a brilliant job on that bike to hold on to second place ahead of Archie O'Brien, with Sim Marco and Archie O'Brien very strong around Ellough Park already, with Josh Bannister up in 4th, Archie Gibbs back in 5th. Charlie Huntingford not able to close in on Archie Gibbs at the moment for 5th position, so Charlie kind of sitting in that 6th position. But you've got to think, if you're him, you want to extend that lead over Ryan Hitchcock. It's 16 points coming into this round, but with no Ryan Hitchcock finishing this one, Charlie Huntingford needs to pick up as many points as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, but he doesn't need to risk too much, because wherever he finishes in this race, he will be extending that championship lead. So Charlie Huntingford just needs to stay on that bike and finish this race, as Josh Bannister tries to go around the outside of the number 91 of Archie O'Brien at the final corner. Couldn't quite make it stick there, but looking menacing behind the number 91 is Josh Bannister at the moment, looking to pick up a podium. Has had quite a bit of bad luck so far this year, has Josh Bannister. A few technical issues earlier in the season. Unfortunately, wasn't able to race at Wilton Mill after sustaining a head injury a week before, but he's back racing here and looking really racy behind the number 91 of Archie O'Brien. But looks like O'Brien's just managed to edge out a little bit of a gap over Bannister now. So Archie O'Brien with a bit of breathing space over the number 2 of Josh Bannister now as well. Marco Holt looking good in second place ahead of these guys as well. But Casey Sperry now with quite a lead out the front, absolutely demolishing the field at the moment, is the number 20. Yeah,
2 seconds a lap faster than anyone on circuit currently, as Casey Sperry has now extended their gap up to 12.6 seconds, as Marco Holt does a time that's a second slower. So Casey Sperry still holding a second's advantage on each lap, and that gap is now really starting to build. Marco Holt with a comfortable 4-second gap over Archie O'Brien, who is just holding off the Nuneaton rider of Josh Bannister in 3rd position. Just Josh desperately tries to get back on the podium for the first time in a couple of races. Archie Gibbs holding on to 5th, with Charlie Huntingford circulating but not really under pressure from behind and not really closing in on Archie Gibbs. So Charlie currently in 6th position. Josh Williams 7th, with Thorley Trevorrow in 8th. Luke Fitchett and Sam Munson rounding out 9th and 10th. Unfortunately, we've lost Warwick Brady and Ryan Hitchcock from this one, but it is Casey Sperry that comes around to start his start on the penultimate lap of this one, and with a comfortable gap, starting to really put the pressure on, just putting blistering lap times in. 14 seconds that gap's now up to.
Yeah, absolutely incredible pace at the front from Casey Sperry, and if you're his family in the pits, you're going to be watching through your fingers in this one, because he's setting a pace absolutely blistering, and he doesn't need to be setting a pace this quick, because he's got a nice comfortable lead at the front with 2 laps to go, but he's clearly quite comfortable running that pace at the front and doing a brilliant job in these wet conditions here at Ellough Park. Looking at the number 72 of Sam Munson, a bit further back there, currently down in 10th place and battling it out for 8th place with Thorley Trevorrow and Luke Fitchett. but it's the number 20 of Casey Sperry who's out the front of this race and absolutely dominating it over Marco Holt, and Archie O'Brien still clinging on to third place ahead of Josh Bannister. Archie Gibbs in a good fifth place, Charlie Hunterford still in sixth, and that's Casey Sperry, your race leader, who's got a problem and is at the side of the circuit trying to get his bike restarted and back into this race. So disaster for Casey Sperry. Was so good at the front of this race, but now is looking like the lead is going to go to Marco Holt on the final lap here at Ellough Park for the LC40 Elite. So disaster for the number 20 of Casey Sperry, who looks absolutely distraught. He knew he was on for a comfortable 25 points and his first win of the season in this race, but it's going to be the number 58 who's going to take his first win of the season. Did a brilliant job to cling on to second place all race long and put a really comfortable pace in second place, and he's going to come through the final few corners, goes through the dogleg hairpin for the final time, down into the hairpin for the final time. The number 5 there is the number 20 of Casey Sperry, distraught with that one unfortunately, but it's all about now Marco Holt, who's going to pick up his first win of the season in the LC40 Elites, comes around the final corner for the final time and takes his first win. It's Marco Holt takes the win for race 1 here for the LC40 Elites here at Ellough Park. And it's going to be Archie O'Brien then that takes second place, Josh Bannister back on the podium. Brilliant to see Josh back on the podium, with the Archie Gibbs taking fourth place as well. There he is then, Casey Sperry. You have to feel sorry for the number 20.
Yeah, you can see he was incandescent with rage. It's so gutting for Casey. He really deserved that one. Really would just been putting in blistering lap times. But it is Marco Holt who is the beneficiary and takes home the race win, taking on the last lap, and comes and picks up his first win on the season. Archie O'Brien in second, with Josh Bannister rounding out the podium, with Archie Gibbs in fourth, Charlie Huntingford being promoted to fifth, with Josh Williams in sixth, Thorley Trevorrow in seventh, with Luke Fitchett in eighth. Casey Sperry is currently put into ninth position, with Sam Munson back in 10th. Unfortunately, we lost Warwick Brady and Ryan Hitchcock earlier on in this one, but you've got to feel sorry there for Casey Sperry
as they come on to start to line up onto the grid ahead of their warm-up lap. Ryan Hitchcock there lining up on pole position, just fresh off his second place in the Extreme 200 class that we just saw just gone. So the number 43 Ryan Hitchcock lining up on pole position. Brilliant training for him, straight off of one bike straight onto another.
Yeah, very much multi-talented there is Ryan Hitchcock, but he will be lining up on pole alongside Archie O'Brien, who finished second yesterday. No Warwick Brady in third place, and unfortunately Warwick with an injury yesterday in race 1. We send our best wishes to him. Casey Sperry in fourth, who unfortunately had the worst of luck yesterday, a 12-second lead and breaking down on the last lap, costing him the race win, which was taken by Marco Holt, who will be lining up in fifth position. Luke Fitchett in sixth, Archie Gibbs seventh, with Sam Munson eighth, Josh Williams ninth, with Charlie Huntingford championship leader in 10th, with Thorley Trevorrow in 11th, and Josh Bannister, who made his way all the way from 12th and last on the grid into the podium position in third last time out on Saturday. So yeah, it was a mixture of luck and chance yesterday. Marco Holt, real beneficiary from a real shame of a late, disastrous breakdown for Casey Sperry.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really unfortunate yesterday for Casey Sperry, the number 20. Led pretty much the whole race, came through from fourth on the grid, and unfortunately fell victim to some technical gremlins right at the end. So he's going to be looking to set that one straight in this one and try and pick up a good result up onto the podium. But a brilliant win yesterday for Marco Holt from fifth place on the grid. He's going to be looking to pick up another 25 points. This is round 5 for the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championships here at Ellough Park. I'm Tristan Finocchiaro, and joining me yet again is Gareth Hall, and we're going to be bringing you all the action this weekend. And we've had some really exciting action so far, and the race 2 for the LC40 Elites looking set to give us some more exciting action as they line up on the grid ready to start their second race of the weekend here for round 5 at Ellough Park. Ryan Hitchcock is then on pole position with the googly eyes on the front of that LC40 machine. You can just see the number 91 there of Archie O'Brien, second place on the grid. What can he do in this one. He'll be looking to pick up a podium, but they look to the lights for race 2 for the LC40 Elites, and they're away for the second time this weekend. It's a bad start from the number 43 of Ryan Hitchcock, but Archie O'Brien getting a brilliant start to take the whole shot into turn 1, down into the turn 2 for the first time. Casey Sperry now up into third place, and you can see there Charlie Huntingford making his way up on that Moto Technic sponsored machine as well.
Yeah, better start there for Charlie. Didn't enjoy the best of races yesterday, and but this time around much better start. But it is Archie O'Brien that got a monster of a launch off the line, sent it down the inside, and but watch out for Casey Sperry in the white helmet with the 20 bike. He sure will be on the charge, wanting to get a bit of a redemption after yesterday's as you say, technical gremlins cost him that race win. Marco Holt, of course, was the beneficiary. He will you'll be able to see the luminous green Monsters Inc. style helmet, but there is a change for the lead already, down into the slingshot hairpin. So back up into the lead. This one is Ryan Hitchcock, the 43, back up ahead of Archie O'Brien, but Archie's coming to the inside into turn 1. Door closed in the face of Archie O'Brien by Ryan Hitchcock. Casey Sperry's going side by side with Charlie Huntingford. Charlie's made a brilliant start from 10th on the grid up to 3rd, battling now between himself and Casey Sperry over this podium place.
Yeah, Charlie Huntingford battling for the championship with Ryan Hitchcock. He doesn't want to see Ryan Hitchcock get away at the front. He's doing everything he can to try and close down on the number 43 of Ryan Hitchcock. Charlie Huntingford, who has got a 27-point advantage over Ryan Hitchcock in the championship, and he's looking to pick up that championship this year, but he's going to have to try and make his way through on the number 43 in this race if he wants to extend that championship lead even further. But a brilliant race at the moment for Archie O'Brien, defending that first place at the moment from Ryan Hitchcock. Huntingford currently in 3rd position.
And Archie O'Brien on that bike, just holding on to position ahead of Ryan Hitchcock. And then you've got the battle going on between Charlie Huntingford and Casey Sperry, who's just falling back from Charlie Huntingford. Charlie Huntingford from Stowmarket, about an hour away up the road. And but he is trying to close in on this breakaway 3 now. So Casey Sperry maybe not showing the same pace that he was yesterday, but if you're Charlie Huntingford, you've got to think that you definitely want to close in and pass Ryan Hitchcock, who is having a look to the inside of Archie O'Brien as they come down towards the slingshot hairpin, and he goes a little bit deep, and that's going to open the door for Charlie to get a run in. But Ryan Hitchcock looking very racy indeed, but Archie O'Brien, after quickly losing the lead briefly, managed to get back, but out of the final corner comes Ryan Hitchcock, tries to go side by side, but here comes Charlie Huntingford into the toe of the pair in front, but not quite close enough to get a move on Ryan Hitchcock. But this is a real breakaway 3, and you've got to think, if you're Charlie Huntingford, he's going to extend that 27-point lead that he had overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what he's going to be looking to be doing. He doesn't have to do anything rash. He's got a relatively comfortable championship lead at the moment, and he just needs to pick up some points in this one, and making sure he's finishing the race and picking up solid points for the championship. But of course, he is going to be wanting to try and to take the win in this race, and also beat his championship rival, number 43 of Ryan Hitchcock. But that's Josh Bannister now out of this race. Looks as if he's having some technical problems just at the side of the circuit, talking to his dad there. So perhaps some the bad luck for the number 2 of Josh Bannister continuing through this season. So really unfortunate for Josh Bannister. So hopefully we'll be able to see his fortunes changing as this season goes on. Looking a bit further back at the battle for 5th place there between the number 72 of Samuel Munson and Marco Holt, who was a race 1 winner. Also number 42 of Thorley Trevorrow, looking to the inside there, tries to make a move stick into turn 2, can't quite make one stick, but this battle hotting up really nicely as well.
Yeah, absolutely so. Marco Holt has gone very well here so far this weekend, and he's trying to close in on Sam Munson, that 72 for 5th position. Archie O'Brien across the line does a 54 flat, so 0.3 of a second faster than Ryan Hitchcock in 2nd, Charlie Huntingford in 3rd, and they still battle. They've dropped Casey Sperry now by almost 5 seconds, so Casey Sperry dropping off this lead battle. So Archie O'Brien leads from Ryan Hitchcock, Charlie Huntingford in 3rd with Casey Sperry 4th. Sam Munson is in 5th place ahead of Marco Holt and Thorley Trevorrow in 7th. Josh Williams in 8th with Archie Gibbs 9th. Luke Fitchett in 10th with Bailey Lawrence in 11th position. Unfortunately, we've lost Josh Bannister from this one, and you made a prediction about Josh Bannister after all this bad luck that he's been having this season. So we were talking before this the broadcast about your prediction for next season for Josh. It's all going to go right for him.
Yeah, absolutely. 2021, my money is on Josh Bannister to take the MKGP 70 title. He's having a rough year this year, and he's going to bounce back and win that championship next year. But it'll definitely be interesting to see, and I do expect him to be really strong next year. And as he has been really strong this year, but just hasn't been able to show it with a terrible amount of bad luck, unfortunately, this season for the number 2. But we expect to see him bouncing back very shortly indeed. And Archie O'Brien, though, at the front of this race, setting another fastest lap on that last lap, and now has 0.5 of a second, half a second lead on this one. His best result so far this season is 3rd, and that was at the very first race right at the start of the year. So he's going to be looking to get himself back onto the podium and pick up his first win in this LC40 Elite Championship.
Yeah, Archie O'Brien looking at pushing himself up through the order and being ahead of Josh Williams and Josh Bannister now means that Archie O'Brien has the opportunity of jumping up into 4th in this championship and perhaps even pushing towards Sam Munson's points haul in 3rd. So it's a really strong race so far for Archie O'Brien. Of course, it was a 2nd place finish for the 91 yesterday, and the rider in the fluoro yellow and black helmet and leathers is desperately trying to hold off the fight from Ryan Hitchcock, who of course has just done a double duty after being on the Extreme 200s just the last race around. But you can see Ryan getting a really good run out the final corner, taking a tighter line, but that wider line for Archie allows him to open up the throttle a little bit earlier, and he is just about holding on to the lead of this one as they start to come up to some lap traffic of Bailey Lawrence just ahead. So we know what lap traffic can do. It's all about navigating it quickly, carefully, and what can Archie O'Brien do as he comes up to this back marker.
Yeah, Archie O'Brien looking really strong on this LC40 machine. Just comes up behind Bailey Lawrence. They're trying to find his way through. Does manage to make a move stick and get through nice and cleanly, using all of the track going into the dogleg hairpin, right over across onto the pit lane entrance. So really learning his skills here in these championships, and learning that he needs to be using every inch of the circuit. He's clearly been watching Charlie Nesbitt.
Yeah, clearly. And you can see right back on the tail of Archie O'Brien. In fact, gets a really good run out the final corner, but Archie O'Brien just about holding onto position once again. We've got the final lap here in the 2nd race of the weekend for the LC40 Elite class. It's Archie O'Brien leading from Ryan Hitchcock and Charlie Huntingford. Casey Sperry has fallen down 15 seconds behind this leading trio. Archie O'Brien has got to the front at the start and has held off valiantly this battle between the 43 of Ryan Hitchcock and Charlie Huntingford, who's not quite been able to close in on this battle for the lead. But Ryan Hitchcock's tried to do all he can. He's tried to take every line on the circuit. He's lining himself up for a run into the slingshot hairpin. He's not going to be close enough, so Archie O'Brien's just got a couple more corners to get around to take this win, but it's going to be a fight. Here comes Ryan Hitchcock, sweeps to the inside with 2 corners left to go. Archie O'Brien on the outside. He's trying to go side by side into the final corner, but up to the line, it is going to be Ryan Hitchcock on the line. Archie O'Brien just caught out at the final moment, slaps his handlebars. He was just caught unaware. Thumbs up from both riders, and Ryan Hitchcock, he saw the opportunity and thought, well, doors open, here I come.
What an incredible ride there from both of those guys, and for Archie O'Brien, trying to cling on to that race win right until the end. It's still the best result of the season in this class for Archie O'Brien, so he should be really happy with that result. But you can just see he looks a little bit frustrated. He really wanted that race win, and I can't blame him at all. But to 2nd place, absolutely brilliant result for Archie O'Brien, and a very well run race. But Ryan Hitchcock, an experienced rider, and just managed to get one on him right at the end with a brilliant move down into the hairpin, set it up nicely at the slingshot hairpin, got the slingshot and got him into the penultimate corner. But Ryan Hitchcock, it was then that won the race ahead of Archie O'Brien. Charlie Huntingford, championship leader in 3rd, ahead of Samuel Munson. Casey Sperry in 5th. Thorley Trevorrow in 6th, ahead of Marco Holt in 7th. Joshua Williams picking up 8th place ahead of Luke Fitcher, and Archie Gibbs down in 10th place, rounding out the top 10 in this race.
Ryan Hitchcock with the fastest lap on the last lap of that one, and it might be a good learning experience for Archie O'Brien there, and he unfortunately just left the door open. He definitely won't do that again, will he? So it's everything is a positive. It might feel like it's a bit of a loss there, losing the lead with 2 corners left to go, but he definitely will learn to cover off that line. Ryan Hitchcock just saw the opportunity, and the ultimate ultimate opportunist. Sent it down the inside. Archie desperately tried to hang it around the outside, but unable to do so. So that is the second race of the weekend done for the LC40 Elite. It's a quick changeover for Ryan Hitchcock from that Extreme 200 on, as you said, onto this mini bike, but he will be lining up on pole position. Archie O'Brien in second, with Casey Sperry lining up in fourth position. Unfortunately, no Warwick Brady, so we send our best wishes to him. An injury for him in yesterday's session cost him the chance of starting today. Marco Holt, who picks up a win already this weekend, in fifth, with Luke Fitch in sixth. Archie Gibbs in seventh, with Sam Munson eighth. Josh Williams ninth, with Charlie Huntingford, championship leader, in 10th. Thorley Trevorrow in 11th, and Josh Bannister back in 12th position. And one rider we spoke to earlier this weekend was championship leader, the 76, Charlie Huntingford.
I'm finding it very fun this year because I'm starting to battle with people like Ryan and Sam and stuff, and I've never battled at the front before.
And you're looking in a good place in the championship for the mini motos. Do you think you'll be able to take that win this year?
I hope so, but as long as we beat Ryan in the overalls and just keep getting the wins now and then.
You're so brilliant to hear from the championship leader, then number 76 of Charlie Huntingford, starting down in 10th place in this one, and we saw him climbing up through the order in race 1 to take a podium. Will he be able to do it again in this one? Well, I wouldn't bet against it at all, but it's Ryan Hitchcock he's battling with in the championship, and Ryan Hitchcock is starting in the perfect place in pole position right at the front of this one. So Ryan Hitchcock with the advantage in this one, but a run of the rider we saw do really well earlier on was number 91 of Archie O'Brien, and Archie O'Brien you see there lining up in second spot on the number 91 machine. He's going to be looking to try and pick up his first victory in the LC40 Elites. He was so close to it earlier on. Will he be able to do it in this race 3? We'll be finding out very shortly as they look to the lights for the final time of the weekend. It's a good start there from Archie O'Brien, who takes the whole shot down into turn 1. Brilliant start from the number 91 rider. Ryan Hitchcock slotting into second place. Charlie Huntingford making up as many positions as he can further back. You can see there on the blue bike with the yellow flashes, the number 76. Josh Bannister also in there as well further back. Casey Sperry in the number 20 up into third place as well. So a good start from Casey Sperry to hold that third place. Sam Munson all over the rear wheel of the number 20 of Casey Sperry in this one. Luke Fitchett and Thorley Trevorrow also further back, who we saw in the AC40 Pros earlier on, and it's Casey Sperry leading this mammoth battle for third place at the moment on this opening lap. Casey Sperry, the number 20 bike there, who we saw do really well yesterday in the LC40 Elite, almost take a win and had it snatched away from him right at the end.
Yeah, on the last lap, bike issue cost him that victory. Gave it to Marco Holt, who would quite happily take it with open arms. But leading this one across the line is Archie O'Brien, ahead of Casey Sperry, with Sam Munson equally doing well. Charlie Huntingford has moved up from 10th on the grid. Had a slight wobble, a little bit of a clip into turn 1 on the first lap. As you see there, a battle between Archie O'Brien and Casey Sperry. Casey Sperry now getting up past, getting past one of the bikes, but Charlie Huntingford getting past both. So Charlie now moving up into a really strong position in this one. Archie Gibbs trying to close in on this battle as well. Archie Gibbs, of course, having a very strong race in the AC40 Pro class earlier this afternoon, and he's staying well within this battle for the fight for the win. And you can't bet against Archie Gibbs because he's definitely got some pace on that bike. Absolutely,
Archie Gibbs, who we saw earlier on take the AC40 Pro win. And doing well in the championship as well, third in that championship, and really strong around this Ellough Park circuit. But it's Archie O'Brien who's really coming into his own on this liquid cooled 40cc mini moto. Was so close to getting his first win earlier on, and he's really putting the hammer down in this one and trying to snatch that first win in this one. Charlie Huntingford now up into third place in this race. Will he be able to catch the two out the front, Archie O'Brien and Ryan Hitchcock, or will it be damage limitation for the number 76 of Charlie Huntingford? Championship leader, second in the championship, is Ryan Hitchcock, and that gap at the front shrinking this weekend, but Charlie Huntingford doing a brilliant job in this one to climb up all the way from 10th on the grid up into third in this one now, as Marco Holt goes up past Archie Gibbs. That's the battle for 4th place that's brewing with Casey Sperry, Marco Holt, Archie Gibbs in there as well. So brilliant battles all through this field. Sam Munson as well, a bit further up the road there. He's in 4th place with Sperry, Holt and Archie Gibbs battling it out for 5th place. Josh Williams in there as well, and also Josh Bannister looking to the inside of Josh Williams as they go through turn 2. Josh Bannister having a bit of an unlucky season so far, but back on track and hopefully enjoying his racing. Archie O'Brien then sets the fastest lap of the race on that last lap with 6 laps to go, and has 0.6 of a second advantage over Ryan Hitchcock over the line. So Archie O'Brien really flying now at the moment. The rider from Cambridge, Charlie Huntingford, still in 3rd, and I'm not quite sure that Charlie Huntingford has the pace to be able to catch these guys. He's running around in 54s, whilst these guys at the front low 53s. Charlie Huntingford dipping into the 53s on that last lap, but not quite got the pace to be able to catch Archie O'Brien and Ryan Hitchcock, with Hitchcock setting the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. Michael Holt goes up the inside of Casey Sperry at turn 1 to take away 5th place as they're all going side by side into turn 2. Loads of impressive moves going on here. Archie O'Brien around the outside, up the inside into turn 3. Bit of a moment as he goes through there. Josh Williams in that battle as well. Marco Holt just trying to get through on Casey Sperry as well. And Marco Holt does get through as Casey Sperry runs wide on the other side of the circuit. And brilliant stuff there. And Archie Gibbs trying to go around the outside of Casey Sperry as well. So Archie Gibbs trying to make the most of all this mess.
Yeah, a slight mistake there from Casey Sperry's cost him 2 positions. Marco Holt and himself had been swapping positions throughout that lap, but it's now Marco Holt that's promoted up into 5th position as Archie Gibbs and Josh Williams all trying to get involved in this battle. You can see Archie Gibbs all over the back of Casey Sperry now as they go down towards turn 1, and Archie Gibbs is looking very, as you say, menacing behind. He's had a very good weekend so far, and Casey Sperry equally, who's had a pretty decent weekend, will be hoping for a little bit more. That slight mistake has cost him a couple of positions. Archie Gibbs will be looking at making it even more, and we've got a rider down, and that's Josh Bannister. Josh Bannister, once again, the unluckiest rider in this paddock, is once again having another issue. But Archie O'Brien is one rider that's not having any bad luck. He's leading this one by, well, it was 0.8 of a second last time around. Comes up to the line. There's a yellow flag at turn 1 for that bike of Josh Bannister, so no overtaking, but he doesn't have to worry about that. He's got a 1.3 second advantage over Ryan Hitchcock, so it seems Ryan hasn't really got anything to counter this pace from Archie O'Brien. Yeah, and
Ryan Hitchcock was just looking down on that back straight, so perhaps some issue there for Ryan Hitchcock as he was looking down at his bike, but still setting a good pace though with a 53.7 on that last lap. So whatever it is can't be hindering him too much, but can't quite match the pace of Archie O'Brien, the number 1 at the front of this race. Really mature little rider is the number 91 of Archie O'Brien. We spoke to him earlier on in the weekend, and I was really impressed with the maturity of Archie O'Brien, and you can see it in his riding, you see it in his lines. He uses every inch of the circuit, and a really good little racer. Almost picked up his first win, but he's learned from that and he's really putting the hammer down in this one here today, picking up second in the last race and looking to pick up a win in this one. Ryan Hitchcock still there in second place, now 2 seconds behind Archie O'Brien, as Archie's setting such a consistent pace out the front. 53.1 is his best time. Last time was a 53.3, so setting consistent low 53s is Archie O'Brien, and that's exactly what is giving him that mammoth lead at the front. 2.1 seconds ahead of Ryan Hitchcock, who's a British Talent Cup rider. So brilliant stuff for Archie O'Brien to be able to pull away from a rider of such pedigree.
Yeah, and we said after race 2, where of course Archie O'Brien was leading for such a long time, and on the last lap just left the door open for Ryan Hitchcock to send it into the penultimate corner and steal the race victory away, that he wouldn't do it again. Well, he's clearly heeded that, and he's going to take the last lap flag and lead across the line and build that gap out to 2.4 seconds. So Archie O'Brien is on his way to Victory Road and a win on the weekends here at Ellough Park, and he's doing it in style. He's just building that gap with each lap, and he was comfortably a couple of tenths faster than anyone else on circuit last time around, and just a few more corners to go for the 91 of Archie O'Brien, and the young man from Cambridge is looking nailed on for a first win on the season in this LC40 Elite class. Just 4 more corners to go. He's got to navigate around this dogleg hairpin. Now down to the slingshot hairpin at turn 9. Just 2 more corners after this. He's just got to keep it on 2 wheels. Archie O'Brien, what a win he's going to take if he can make the next 2 corners. A huge, huge mark for him as he comes around the final corner, takes the checker flag. What a win, punches the air. Archie O'Brien picks up the win in the LC40 Elite class. Ryan Hitchcock will come across the line in 2nd position. Charlie Huntingford in 3rd. But Archie O'Brien waving to camera, a well-deserved win there for the 91. And you've got to think, after that disappointment in race 2, that's exactly how you come back.
Absolutely incredible victory for Archie O'Brien, but battles all through this field. Marco Holt crossing the line there in fifth spot, just behind Samuel Munson, the number 72, and Josh Williams just behind him. Ryan Hitchcock there congratulates the number 91 of Archie O'Brien. Great to see such great sportsmanship, and a brilliant victory for Archie O'Brien. A brilliant little rider is the number 91. You can just see how far he hangs off that little mini moto. He'll do well when he moves up onto the bigger bikes, and a brilliant run there from Archie O'Brien. Ryan Hitchcock in 2nd, Charlie Huntingford, damage limitation for him in 3rd. Good podium for Charlie Huntingford and keeps that championship lead. Archie O'Brien then wins the race, also with the fastest lap of the race of a 53.1, ahead of Ryan Hitchcock. Charlie Huntingford in 3rd, Sam Munson in 4th, Marco Holt in 5th. Joshua Williams rounds out your top 6 with Archie Gibbs in 7th place, ahead of Casey Sperry, Thorley Trevorrow in 9th, and Lawrence in 10th place, rounding out the top 10, the number 9 of Bailey Lawrence.